All right, today we're making a video about my Redcat Rampage MT. I think this is the version 3. This is a gas-powered vehicle. I haven't run this one. Don't really have anywhere around my area to run this one without people trying to kill me because of the noise that it makes, but it's a vehicle that I've always thought was pretty cool. It's the biggest vehicle I own in my collection. I will run it one day when I find somewhere to run it, but at the moment it's just sitting on my shelf with the rest of my collection. It's very hard to tell the size of this vehicle on camera, but it is definitely the biggest vehicle I own. There's a 3S infraction next to it, and if I hold up, there's an arm of granite. If I sit it down here next to it, you can see the wheel size difference. It's quite a big wheel on this thing. There's my hand. They're not small. It's not as big as a Raminator. It's definitely smaller than a Raminator, but it is still quite a big vehicle. It is a 1/5 vehicle. It's bloody heavy. It was a mission to even lift it onto this shelf. It barely fits in this shelf. It's going to be hard for me to move it around, so I'm just going to have to move around the vehicle. It's got massive shocks on it, massive metal chassis. It is gas. I'll show you in a second. Huge tyres. They are absolutely enormous. Big thick body on this. I'm not sure if it's Lexan or not. It feels like it kind of is, but it's very thick. It's quite a heavy body as well. I've already taken the body pins out, so I'll just get it out of here. It doesn't have any reinforcements or any bars or chassis protectors in it. It does come with clear windows. I didn't paint this. It comes painted like this. All right, this is the inside of it. As I said, is fuel powered, gas powered in America. Pull starter. It's a Fuelie 32cc. They're not the fastest motors. You can get a lot better motors than this, but this is just what these come with from the factory. It does have large scale servos in it, 5th scale servos. I haven't even tried them out yet, but I imagine they're quite weak. I think most servos will have a drama turning tyres this big, especially when the vehicle's not moving. And ready to run vehicles never come with amazing servos, so I can't imagine that these are the best servos, but I couldn't tell you because I haven't tried them. Does have a carby in there, does have a primer bulb on it. This one also comes with a choke. There's your stop button for the engine. You can see up in there, there's your spark plug. I have had 5th scale like HPI bar jars and stuff that I used to run back in the day, so I'm pretty familiar with the whole gas powered vehicles. Here's your fuel tank, screw on and off fuel cap. It's not a flip top like you get in your nitros. Quite a large tank. I think you'd have fairly long run time with this. The exhaust on the back, it's a rear exit exhaust. Bit of a pipe spitting out the back, which is nice, but you will get a lot of oil and junk and crap run down and sit in here because these always spit out quite a bit of unburnt fuel and oil and rubbish, so you'd be cleaning this thing up after every run. Big thick sort of roll cage looking support bracket up here on the top. Quite thick body mounts. They are adjustable. You can pull the screws out and adjust them up and down. Alloy front and rear shock towers. Very thick. It's hard to tell how thick it is on the camera, but there's my finger. It's basically as thick as my finger. Huge shocks. Once again, they're quite massive. The arms on this, massive. All the links, everything, this is just a huge vehicle. You should feel the torque, and even the servos feel quite strong for what they are. I haven't mentioned, but if I can turn this around, get a better look from the front, you can see there is a servo there and there's a servo here that I was just showing you. They're both for the steering. It does have dual steering servos, so they work in conjunction to turn it. So I imagine it does an alright job for a ready to run servo setup, having the dual, but you can always get better servos just like you can with any ready to run vehicle. There's a front view of it. Big, thick, heavy front bumper. You can see these arms, like they're thicker than my finger. They are quite chunky. In here, same deal. They're just, everything on this vehicle is just large. Big aluminium shocks. They are threaded. You can adjust them. Once again, They're huge. They're longer than my fingers. They're thicker than my fingers. They're basically as long as my whole hand. So it's going to be very hard to lift this up to show you the bottom. But yeah, it is a fully alloy chassis underneath this. You can see over here on this side, there's your servo that runs your disc brake and your throttle for it. You can see there's your choke on this side. Gears are under this cover in here. Couldn't tell you what's in there. I haven't pulled it apart and have a look, and I've had this truck for many a year now, so I forget a lot of the specs on it. It does have the dual disc brake down in there that you can see. But yeah, it's definitely the biggest vehicle in my collection by far. This is, I would say this is a true 1/5 scale. The Raminators, they also say is 5th scale, but it is a giant 5th scale. This one compares to most of your true 5th scale size vehicles. I'd say this is pretty comparable. I don't know what it weighs, but it's bloody heavy. It's not the easiest thing to move around. Everything on is just so thick, solid and heavy. These wheels are very heavy. I've pulled them off. They are just massive. This chassis is insanely thick. You can see the thickness of it down in here. It's the same thickness all the way through. It's just giant. It's your radio box, your on and off switch. It does have a NIM pack in there for your batteries. But yeah, it's quite a cool truck. It's just a Redcat Rampage, so it's not a very super premium brand, but Redcat's been around for quite a long time. They've made quite a lot of vehicles. You can get spare parts for these still. I just think it looks quite cool. I love monster trucks, and this is quite a large monster truck. It's always very hard on camera to try and show how truly big things are, but this one is definitely, it's big. It's a big boy. It looks tough. You need quite a bit of a shelf to store this one. It looks quite funny next to regular 1/10 scale, but you can see the shocks. Very, very stiff. Like I'm pushing a fair amount of weight on this to push this down. It's a big boy. But yeah, I kind of like it. You don't see too many videos of this online. It's not a real common, real popular vehicle. It's just one that I've always liked. I like the shape and the look of it. It's got your more conventional monster truck shape and style to it, which I really like. So yeah, just one from my collection. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else you want to see about it. Let me know in the comments if you've got one of these and you've used one. I will one day when I find somewhere to run it, but at the moment, there's nowhere for me to run a vehicle this size, making this much noise. They are quite loud, being gas powered. I struggle enough getting my nitro ones out without getting looks and stares from every neighbour trying to kill you. So yeah, it's just my Redcat Rampage MT. This is, I think, the version 3 of it. Yeah, tell me what you think.